Hey everybody, welcome to the Rave TV. Trevor McAllister here with Eric Paslay. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Good to
Welcome
be
to
here.
Milwaukee.
Thank you.
First time?
Second time we were
Second
here.
time.
First time with Eli Young Band.
Yeah. How'd you like it, man?
It's great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing the. You bring the snow with you, cause.
Sorry about that. No, I don't. I never bring the snow with me. I don't think. But
Well, you guys are just down in Chicago, right?
yeah, down at Joe's. And
Yeah. How'd that go?
It was great, man. Sold out the first show of the year, so it was great.
That's a great way to start it off.
Yeah.
Well, so when I first heard that you were coming here, the first thing I thought of was, songwriter. You've got some crazy hits out there,
Yeah.
and now you're performing, your own. And how is that going from, writing songs for, I don't know, for other people and then kind of performing them yourself?
The wild thing, I had a record deal before I ever got a big song recorded, and I've had a record deal for about 4 years, and Jake Owen heard Barefoot Blue Jean Night about 2 months after I signed my deal, and he recorded that, and then all these songs that I'd written over the last 8 years kind of all came out at once, So I'm honored to be known as a songwriter first, but I've had a record deal even longer. It's kind of wild, but in Nashville, we just write so many songs as singers and songwriters, But it's the cool thing is now I get to go out and play Friday night, Song About a Girl and She Don't Love You hits that I've had as an artist now, and then also get to perform all the other songs that other people have. I'm so grateful that they made hits themselves. It's pretty cool. It's just awesome.
Very cool. Now, when you write these songs, before they, Jake Owen performed it, were all those songs kind of written for you? Did you write those expecting to, perform them yourself and record them yourself?
I just go in and try to write a great song.
Okay.
It's so wild how a song gets heard. There's no exact reason or rhyme or why or how or when. That as wild as it is, I just figure a song has forever to get heard. So if whatever shows up that day, if you believe in it, just write it. And it might not fit the cool that's right now, but it might fit the cool in 10 years from now.
Right.
Or it might fit something that I'm gonna do that nobody's heard yet, and that's I just go in and write a great song. If you're trying to write, I talk to songwriters or artists. It's like, man, if you're trying to do exactly what's on the radio, that was written 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Every
Never
song.
thought of that, yeah.
Most songs are 2 years old, as far as the age of them. But
Right.
the cool thing is they're brand new right now, and it's a really cool thing.
Very cool. So Barefoot Blue Jean Night went, that was Song of the Year.
Yeah, it was ASCAP Song of the Year.
Great.
That was mind blowing. I had no clue. It was a surprise, and it's been amazing. That year it was basically one of the top 5 songs of the year. So we got to play it, perform it live. It's a songwriters award.
Right.
And then the next year I got to perform Even If It Breaks Your Heart. It was another top 5 most played song on country radio.
You were nominated for a Grammy for that?
We were nominated for a Grammy and a CMA, ACMs, and all that stuff. But
How's that feel when you find out that you're nominated for a Grammy?
it was pretty wild. I think I found out around Christmas. I guess it was a couple years ago now, but it's just wild. You're like, what the heck? I'm nominated for a Grammy, but I'm glad that I know the feeling of, and the winner is. I don't know the feeling yet of winning one, but it's an honor. It really is. It's mind blowing. It's like the odds of having someone hear your song is a miracle, and for people in the industry to think you did okay, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, She Don't Love You, your single. What a powerful song.
Nice.
That's great. Now, in a song like that, when you're singing it, are you thinking of someone when you're singing it? Is that like when you write it, when you're thinking of, a specific someone, is that about someone specifically, or
that song? A lot of times when I write it, it's not specifically about like one person or even me, but I know it's true,
Right.
and it's. But that song, it just kind of fell out. I was writing with another writer artist named Jen Wayne, and she was in a duo called Stealing Angels. She's on like Amazing Race and all this wild stuff she's been in. But it was like my third write of the day. I actually forgot that we were gonna write, and she called and she was like, "Hey, you ready to write?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I unpacked my stuff, and I was already at the writer room, and She came up, and we were trying to write a song for George Strait. Her grandfather was John Wayne, and
Oh, wow.
so you think of George Strait and you think of John Wayne and just iconic cowboys,
Right.
and a singer, an actor, but true cowboys. And we were just trying to write a song for the Cowboy Rides Away tour for George Strait, and whenever I have a goal like that, I'm just awful at writing it. But I think it was a pretty good song, and through all that, all of a sudden we wrote "She Don't Love You" in about 45 minutes, and
Wow.
And it just little pieces of like history, not specifically one person or one thing, and too many cowboys rode away. I think that's probably Cowboy
That's
Rides
awesome,
Away
yeah.
tour. So that's probably where that line came from. It's kind of wild looking back, going like, where did those thoughts come from? But it's just I just look at a song kind of both sides of a broken heart, and at the end it kind of has that Hollywood ending of, oh, well, you were the first one to break her heart. That's why she loves the way she does. I remember her when she was mine, and it's cool how people listen to it. Some people listen to it like, yeah, she don't love you, she's just lonely, yeah. But it's like, no, it's because I broke her heart first,
Right.
She can't love anymore.
Yeah, different things for different people.
And it's also, and that's not the truth, but I think the cool thing about that song is the person singing it hopefully realizes that they were the one that did it and can forgive themselves, and the person that might be that girl or even that guy, whoever feels that way, can realize, like, you don't have to be that way forever,
Right.
That's at least my hope when people hear the song, not to just be depressed, but to go, oh, wow, feel something real, and hopefully get over it, and realize that that's life, and most of us have been through something like that.
Very cool. Yeah, I love the song. First time I heard it, I mean, it went right to iTunes. Got it.
Yeah, thanks, no, a lot of people have been getting it, so thank y'all very much.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for getting the song.
For sure. That, I mean, Friday Night too. I mean, #1.
Yeah.
I mean, what a cool little anthem that is, man. That's
my album came out because of that song, so very, very grateful for that. We got the bugs coming around, man.
What is it?
It's like winter, and we're
Winter Milwaukee. Yeah. So, sad to say, little Jimmy Dickens at the Opry. I just saw, I think you posted a picture either on Twitter or Facebook, one of them.
Yeah.
But what was that like, being at the Opry and being able to meet someone like that?
It was actually, I actually was there at his last performance. It was on December 20th. So I'm still kind of in shock because he was, he's 94 years old.
Right.
But it was just wild. I was upstairs with Natalie, my girl, and I was like, hey, it's Jimmy. Jimmy's here, and she was like, we got to go down, So we ran downstairs, and he was playing. It was his birthday, so they brought out a cake for him. And he was just goofing around, and he got his guitar and acting like he was cutting the cake, And I was like, hey, we probably should get a picture, and they kind of went upstairs, and they came back down. I went on and played, and then when I was done, they were kind of hanging out, him and his wife, and Pete Fisher, the GM of the Opry, and I pulled Pete, and I was like, hey, you think Jimmy would take a picture with us? And he was like, oh yeah. And Jimmy came over, and he was just like, man, he was like, it was just really nice. He was just like, well, he's like, you play a Gibson like I do, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I actually have a J200. I say it makes me feel normal size, And but he was, he's a giant of a guy, I mean, I saw something that John Rich and Brad had posted about him, but it was just really special to, out of 64 years of being a member of the Opry, I'm honored that I got to see his last performance, and it's quite a feat to be able to love music that much to where you don't get jaded to it and you don't
right.
give it up, and the fact that he was such one of the leading guys in rock and roll, really, he was one of the first country bands to have lead guitars in a band and all that, in which he never really played up, but it was
Wow.
it was just I'm honored that I got to shake his hand and see him play live a couple times, and I mean, country musical is much better for having Jimmy Dickens tell his funny stories and play his music,
That's one thing that I've never been to the Opry, and every time I go to Nashville, I'm like, man, I got to go to the Opry this time. And
you got to go, man.
I got to go. I definitely got to go. And it sucks now that I'm going to go someday, without him there.
Yeah.
But But switching from that, I mean, how is it playing the Opry? I mean, it's got to be just a crazy feeling, you know? Like, I mean, I would have no clue, but I'm guessing, you know, like
the first time I ever got to play the Opry, and the cool thing, it was actually at the Ryman Auditorium during the holidays. They have it back at the Ryman, which is the original spot for the Grand Ole Opry.
Right behind Tootsie's, right?
Yeah, behind Tootsie's there, and the Mother Church of Country Music.
Right.
And but it's the first time I got to play, it just lined up perfectly where it was at the Ryman, you know, to get to play my debut Opry appearance at the Ryman Auditorium also was just awesome. And Ricky Skaggs was there, Daryl Worley was there, and I'd met Daryl a couple times, and I really hadn't met Ricky, and I'm standing right beside him. I'm about to go out on stage, you know, kind of nervous, as you should be. And he's looking at me like, "Are you nervous? Are you nervous?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm nervous." And you're Ricky Skaggs, you know. And went out, and you know, I think the first line I was kind of had some of that Johnny Cash shake in there, you know. It wasn't from style; it was out of nervousness. Right. But afterwards, Daryl Worley was upstairs, and he said, "Man, I was upstairs doing an interview, and I heard the little shake in your voice." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's a good thing." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Your heart's not in the right place if you're not nervous when you're playing the Opry."
Wow.
And it is true. And I think I thought about that a while. And it's like when you think of all these huge performers, they've played every venue, every stage, every audience amount of people, and to get that feeling of the butterflies, it really always shows up at the Opry, and hopefully every night that shows up in a good way for you as a performer, and and anyone in life, that you get excited when you go to your job, or get excited when you see the person you love or your kids, you know, to not get numb to life, you know. But it's definitely an unnumbing moment when you get to walk out on the Opry stage. The only problem is you only get to play like 2 songs, but, you know, maybe one day one day we'll just get to do a show at the Ryman for a whole show, you know.
Man, I'm coming for that one.
Come on.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, thank you for stopping by and talking to me and hanging out with the Rave TV. We're excited to have you here.
It's good to be back, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ready to rock it.
Well, we'll see you out there for your performance, and good luck. Good luck on the road.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Happy New Year.
You too. Eric Paslay, everybody. Thank you very much for checking it out.